popular airline promises to bring humanity back to air travel, but try telling that to the Jetblue passengers left high and dry after last week's big storm. More now from NBC's Tom Costello.
Today is the day JetBlue hopes it finally gets all of its planes back in the air. Nearly a week after the Valentine's Day ice storm literally froze the airline in place with 1,100 cancellations over 6 days. Even Monday, a quarter of all flights still canceled. So what went wrong?
We have a lot of people that wanted to help, a lot of people that wanted to jump in and help them do it, but they weren't trained to do so.
In short, not enough people to backfill key positions. Pilots and flight attendants displaced and unable to communicate with headquarters. Planes out of position for the next flight. And 2,000 reservation agents in Salt Lake City completely overwhelmed.
This is definitely going to be a very costly week for them, but in the airline business, as in the service business, it's not the delivery of the service that determines who wins or loses. It's how you recover. So now we're going to see how they recover.
But on Capitol Hill, Congress is poised to act. Representative Mike Thompson is set to propose a passenger Bill of Rights, setting limits on how long passengers can sit waiting on a tarmac, and new regulations on how airlines should treat them.
I'm one who believes that no passenger should be held hostage on a tarmac for more than 3 hours, let alone 9 hours.
While the airlines oppose any measure that would dictate how they should treat their customers, this JetBlue incident may well compel all airlines to set a new standard for customer service. For today, Tom Costello, NBC News, Washington.
David Neeleman is founder and CEO of JetBlue. Mr. Neeleman, I know it's been a tough week, so I appreciate you being here this morning.
Thanks for having me, Matt.
Everything I've read from your airline over the last 24 hours and from you has said basically this airline will be back on schedule, all flights in the air today. I ask, and I start with this because you've been wrong before. On Friday, you said the airline would be mostly running back at full speed on Saturday. And we all know Saturday, Sunday, and then again Monday, you had to cancel nearly 25% of your flights. So why is it going to be different today?
Well, we're flying. We're up and going. First flights have left. And, you know, I think that on Friday night, we made a decision to put some flights on the ground, the 23% of the 190s, just to try and reset the airline. It was probably an overreaction. We probably, in hindsight, we didn't need to go that far. But we had put our customers and our crew members through so much over the last 3 days, we needed to give time to to get back to normal.
The question I've been hearing over these last 5-6 days, and I know you've heard this too, is they say, how can a snowstorm that hits on a Wednesday of 1 week force an airline to cancel 139 flights or 23% of flights on the Monday of the next week? And if all airlines face the same storm, why did this hit JetBlue so hard and not those other airlines?
Well, I think we had a weakness in our system. You know, we had built an airline that was operating 600 flights a day, and in our crew services area, the people that were in charge of reassigning people to flights, on Wednesday we canceled 279 flights, and that displaced over 1,000 people of our flight crew members. And as they started to put that back together again, they didn't get it done for the next day not because they weren't good and not because we didn't have the system, but we were overwhelmed by it.
But when you talk about a weakness in the system, analysts of your industry have said this is an airline that grew too big too fast. And this is an infrastructure problem. You can't fix an infrastructure problem overnight. How long is it going to take?
I'll tell you, if we had a storm tomorrow, we would be 100% better off because we really had maybe 10 or 15 people trying to allocate the resources for these 1,000 people. And we have now brought in new people, we've trained people, we have contingency plans, we have databases, we have people working around the clock to make sure, you know, Matt, I think because we had this problem, we've discovered, and it's not just this particular problem that caused this cascading effect, but we're going to have contingency plans for airports to redeploy people, to be able to beef up reservations. We're going to be a much better airline because of this.
Let me ask you a simple question. Is someone in a high-level position going to lose their job over this?
No.
No firings because of this?
No.
How do you think that's going to sit with passengers who want to hear about accountability?
Well, I think accountability, rests with the CEO, and I think, even though I wasn't responsible for that particular part of the operation, that's where I spent 3 days, sleepless nights, and I know exactly what failed, and I know what can be fixed, and it will be fixed, and it is being fixed, and we will be better than any other airline, and that's why we came out with the Bill of Rights today, because we're going to be held accountable day in, day out for our actions.
I'm going to get to the Bill of Rights in a second. People in this country, by and large, work for 2 weeks vacation a year. Okay, yes. So if they were booking one of their weeks of vacation on JetBlue last week, They're none too happy with this airline right now. How do you get that trust back? What do you say to those people and say, don't worry about booking your next vacation with us?
Well, I think we had a problem, and this is a defining moment in our company. This is something that we have learned a painful lesson. And because it has been so painful, and had this storm gone on for 1 or 2 days, I'm not sure. I know we wouldn't be the company that we're going to be in the future, because it has really affected us to our core, and we are determined not only to become better in the future, but to put in place different processes to make sure it never happens again.
I've flown your airline. I have to say, I've always had good experiences. I watched the guys in our crew coming up to you before the program this morning, all saying they liked your airline. You've spent thousands of man hours and millions of dollars creating an image for this airline, that it is passenger friendly. What was it like to sit in your office or wherever you were over these last 5 days and watch one snowstorm basically take that image and flush it down the drain?
It was horrifying. I mean, it was the worst possible thing imaginable, and that's why we have this determination to be better than we've ever been before, and to make this. It's not really sometimes what happens to you, it's how you react to it, and our reaction is going to be unbelievable.
Let's talk about the Bill of Rights that you're announcing right here on this program this morning, and put some graphics up. And the headlines to me are, when you look at departure delays and ground delays. Departure delays, basically you're telling your passengers a sliding scale. We keep you sitting in the airport waiting for something we can control. We're going to pay you more money the longer you sit. Is that the way I should read it?
That's exactly right.
And ground delays are different than departure delays how?
Well, if you push back from a gate and you're going somewhere and you're delayed for whatever reason up to a certain period of time, then you're going to start getting credit back from your flights.
And I'm looking at ground delays, the graphic right there. 1 to 2 hour or half hour to 1 hour, you get $25 voucher. 1 to 2 hours, $100 voucher. 2 to 3 hour delay, one-way ticket. 4+ hour delay, round-trip ticket. It occurs to me, if this Bill of Rights had been in effect last week, this would have cost you a fortune.
We're going back and retroacting all of that. We're going to give that to all of our customers.
How much does this cost the airline financially?
It's going to be very expensive, but I think it's.
Give me a number. I mean, I know you've run the numbers.
I don't have the final number, but it's going to be, I would say, maybe $20 or $30 million, maybe a little bit higher. We're going to get the final tally in. But I think what's important is that I don't run the airline for 1 quarter results. We are going to go overboard to make sure that we get the credit back to the customers, that we apologize, that we explain what happened. More importantly, that we explain why this will never happen again. And then when we do that, our quarters, we're going to offer something that no other airline will offer customers. And we're going to be held accountable and a laser beam focus by this Bill of Rights that we're going to have with us every day.
Is your Bill of Rights a preemptive strike so that Congress doesn't get involved and impose a Bill of Rights? It's being talked about even in that piece we just saw. Congress might say, wait, we'll pass a Bill of Rights for passengers. As a CEO of a major airline, how would you feel if Congress got involved?
Well, I've been to Washington a lot, and I've listened to a lot of people down there, and basically, I want to take care of our own customers. I know what's right for our customers. We don't set out to not take care of our customers, and why should Congress tell us how to treat our people? We should be able to do that, and so we want to do it because it's the right thing to do, and it keeps us focused on the future. That's the most important thing, because our customers understand a one-day event. Okay, we had a snowstorm, we canceled our flight. That's just a bad luck thing. But the next day and the day after, they don't understand, and that's why that type of situation we will not tolerate in the future. And we have lots of contingency plans, and we're going to be communicating that with our customers as we go forward.
And yet no one loses their job.
No.
David Neeleman, founder and CEO of JetBlue. I know it's been a tough week. Thanks for being here this morning.
Thank you.
40 minutes after the hour, let's get a check of the weather now from Al.